Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening. I'm Matt. He's
I'm
Dave,
Dave.
and welcome to today's Understanding E Mastermind. Now, as we always start these masterminds, entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life like most people won't, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. Today's topic is a bit of a big one. I'm not sure if you've been and seen it, but I'm sure Dave will pop a link in the chat for you in a few seconds' time. There is some eBay updates. There are also some updates that have just been published. We will be taking a look at these together. So Dave, you can slip the link in the chat. Again, those of you who are just joining us, do go and take a quick look at those. We will be discussing that in more depth as today's topic. Now, obviously, thank you for taking the time to join us here today for today's live mastermind. Of course, howdy if you're watching the recorded version as well. Remember, there's no such thing as a daft question if you don't know the answer. And on the right-hand side of your screen, there is a live chat, and you can join in with the chat. So howdy, Anthony, howdy, Mike, and Liz, and howdy, Nick. And of course, if you've just seen me saying howdy, say howdy in the chat. And yeah, we're really going to be looking forward to your feedback on what you think about the eBay updates. And like I said, we'll be going through those together. So the best place for that is the live chat, obviously, assuming that you're watching the live version. Moving on. Yeah, we do our masterminds backwards. So we do the any other business and the news section first so that we can focus on the main topic of the day, which is going to be about the eBay update. So, Dave, what do we have in... Oh, that's what we have in the any other business. Go with us.
Indeed. So, as always, we had the eSeller Cafe news roundup yesterday. If you haven't seen the recording or you weren't with us live, the link for it is in the chat now. And that happens every Monday live on YouTube. And it's where me, Matt, and Richard talk about the latest goings on in e-commerce news, and the news that we covered today. Most of it we covered yesterday, but in a bit more detail. Although yesterday's was a bit of a rush because we had like 11 things to talk about, and Matt's very strict with his time. So yeah, there's the catch-up link for that, and also any other business.
You guys did manage an hour one literally the week before, so
we
11 topics to cover. Me
and Richard will talk for ages on all sorts of things. Especially when you're not around to keep us on track. So yeah, it's we've got. I don't have a time limit. Matt sets the time limit. So yeah, always fun. But yeah, the end of the business, as we mentioned last week about what we've got coming up, the MailChimp crash course will go live next week. You know, we recorded a good portion of it with the editor. So yeah, we were expecting new material coming out then, followed closely by the email marketing as a whole course. Of course, these are following on from the blog and marketing courses that we did a little earlier. On to the news. Perhaps one of the main ones, certainly in the tech industry last week, was the iPhone 10 announcement. And again, last week, we talked about how did Apple need that one more thing. They actually had the one more thing. It was the iPhone X or the iPhone 10. But we were actually chatting about this yesterday. Is it as innovative as Apple were making out? Not really. Edge-to-edge screen, Samsung have had that for 2 years. Wireless charging, Samsung have had that for about 3 years. You know, the facial recognition, Alibaba and Alipay are doing that over in the East. The only true innovation seems to really come from the animojis, which I'm not truly sure bring a lot of value to the party. Richard felt very strongly with this yesterday, and to quote him, they are dazzling us with bullshit. So there we go. That was the term yesterday. They're not, instead of giving us things that would actually benefit us, they're giving us random things like that. I also went off on a rant about how wireless charging isn't actually that great, and instead having a wireless charging glove would be a much better idea. So you could. My
suggestion was that they should make it like the cameras which you wind up.
Like a kinetic energy thing.
Shake it to charge it with the special glove in your hand and your phone in there as well, Dave.
Yeah, so me and Matt are going to go and start a rival to Apple and show them how to really do tech innovation. Can you imagine? But yeah, so is it innovation? Not really. But yeah, it was interesting also. Nice to see they actually did something rather than say we've got another watch.
And so the next, that's right. I find the iPhone 10 really boring. I'm never going to own an iPhone. In fact, my daughters are more likely to own an iPhone than me. The next one, Dave, in the news, is really pick up my attention yesterday. It was one of the cool news things is the one-click ordering patent, which Amazon had expired like a week ago. And we've taken bets on when eBay are actually going to implement that. So I put down January 2018 on the idea that they might actually do it before then. I strongly suspect they will do. Whereas, Dave, you were a little bit more conservative.
I went for April. I think they'll announce it as part of their spring update. That would be my guess.
I reckon it will come out sooner. I genuinely think it will come out sooner.
We've not seen anything yet. I would have been very surprised. This autumn update, this would have been the perfect time for them to announce it.
But it doesn't affect sellers. It doesn't affect sellers because it's a customer-facing thing rather
than increasing conversion. If I was eBay, I'd be shouting about it everywhere. But
Yeah. It's because it's a user interface change which affects the customer. It doesn't need to come out in a seller update. You don't necessarily need to give like sellers 6 months notice. Blah blah blah. So I reckon it'll come out as soon as. And Richard was ever the pessimist and said the fall of 2019.
So about a year away. About a year away is what Richard's going for.
Yeah, which is, to be honest, is that if you're gonna, there's only like most of the time when I personally buy one on eBay, it's one-offs which I'm buying, or a mass quantity of one item. With the rare items from time to time, where we were buying some nuts and bolts earlier, or some bolts and some washers, and we bought 2 items from the same seller. So we added items to the cart. The rest of it was just buy it now. Would have just been perfectly fine, and I would have been super happy with the one-click wonder. So yeah, we're again. Let us know your bets. When do you think eBay are going to come out with the one-click wonder button, so that your customer can buy straight off the page without going to the checkout, which is in many ways an unnecessary step.
Tell you what, because they already connected eBay seller accounts with PayPal accounts, so it's entirely
There's no point in me going to that last page.
No,
at all.
And I can't help but think if eBay and PayPal were still together, it would happen a little bit quicker. But I don't know.
I don't think there's anything which is required. It's a separate button, separate set of terms and conditions. Maybe a little slight delay in it, just in case. Again, if you think about it, someone hit buy, and then that moment of pause, like, crap, did I buy that? Or whoops, that was the wrong one. They'll go back. So you only need a very short pause on it for the customer to bail out, which I'm sure Amazon have got. That's why it takes 30 minutes for your orders to turn up on their API. So James says, I got an idea. Retina scan recognition where you can simply nod or even wink and the item gets purchased. I know it happens to me with RC models. Before I knew it, I've bought them. They're in the mail. Hey.
It's funny. So anyway, following on from that, the next piece is about Shopify has gone QR. They have announced a new app. I've even forgotten the name of it.
Sorry, James is going on there. Buttons and fingers are so last year.
I know. It's all going to be voice. Trust me, it's all going to be voice.
In fact, I'm going to patent the motion. I'm here looking for my phone. I've got it. Right. So the new way of paying for your items is like that. That's the price of the advert, isn't it?
It was, yeah. That's the price. So yeah. Anyway, Shopify have come out with shop codes. That's what it's called. And it's oh dear. And basically, it's a new way that allows sellers to assign products or categories or deals, whatever it may be, to a QR code and allow buyers to instantly scan them and go straight to that checkout page, add it to the basket, whatever. QR codes aren't new. They've been around for years. But again, it's another thing which Shopify are doing, which, again, it makes the buying process easier, makes the checkout process easier. And yeah, it's, again, further innovation. Well, not really innovation, just further value from Shopify in terms of what they're allowing buyers and sellers to work on. So again, quite nice news from Shopify there. And finally, Royal Mail prepare you for Christmas. Last week, I did a post about planning for Black Friday. Royal Mail have gone one stage further and done one for Christmas with their tips. Some of them are quite similar. Some of them are a little bit more out there thinking, such as international deliveries and seasonality of products. Again, always worth considering. I believe Richard, we spoke about this yesterday. I think Richard, and I'm sure I'll get involved and help him out where I can. We will be doing a sort of like a matrix of all the Christmas delivery dates for all of the main carriers. We'll have that ready on eSeller Cafe as soon as we've got all the data compiled. So yeah, looking forward to that. And that is pretty much the news for this week. And I can only see what you guys have been doing in the background there in the chat.
Children, what you like? Gonna be one of those days today. Right, on to, and in fact, we probably need to put our serious hats on.
Yeah, this is quite serious stuff.
10 minutes. Okay, so the serious point. In the chat, there's a link. These are the latest updates for eBay UK. I would strongly suspect they are very similar to eBay.com, but obviously, if
they've not come out yet.
They've not come out yet. Oh, right. So if they've not come out yet, then take a look what crap we got, because it's going to hit the fan over with you very shortly. That's all right. Thanks, Dave. I can reword that one now.
All this is thanks to Richard. He spotted them first and sent them over. So again, hat tip to Richard for this one. We did change very quickly what we originally planned to do today, because Richard sent this over about 20 minutes ago. So, yes.
Absolutely. Right. So let's get into the thick of this. There are a couple of key points. So I'm just opening these up now with the tabs, and we'll go through the 4 or 5 pieces which we need. Right, there's a couple of shockers in here, as in that if you've not done a bit of pre-preparation, that it's going to really tighten it on for you for the timeframes which they're talking about. The first one is removing watermarks from images. Okay, now this is the curiosity. Okay, is that I pretty much guarantee that if you go on eBay right now, you're not allowed extra tags and stuff like that. Remember, you weren't allowed to have the corner banner or the slider underneath it on images. Is that if you look around on eBay today, you will still find listings with those extra pieces of artwork, because you were allowed to have watermarks on your images. Sorry, you were allowed to do whatever you wanted, and then it was only watermarks, and now you're not going to be even allowed watermarks. So by March 2018, you're going to have to start removing watermarks from your images, or have them removed. Otherwise, basically, you're going to get demoted in search.
What's interesting for me on that topic of watermarks, because I've been doing some, again, on the YouTube thing, I did that competition for some mentoring thing, and the person who won is from Australia. And if you've ever been on the Australian eBay site, their pictures are just full of graffiti, literally plastered with it. And I said, I was like, is this not not allowed? And she's like, no, everybody does it. Honestly, just go to ebay.com.au, type in a random thing, and all of the images, there's Australian flags on there, free shipping, top rated seller blow. I'm like, what the is this? This hasn't been allowed for years.
Always the best. They were my favourite ones.
What's that?
You can make them look like eBay, the corner little tags.
Oh yeah.
I was just so disappointed. And James, you've been in here. The nail on the head is that I wonder if they will police it this time. I actually think they will do.
Sounds that way.
They have to. And again, apologies if you're watching this, but we all know this is the reality. Is that in short, the policing of it has just been non-existent, and I've refrained from using the S word from that. It's just been so non-existent around images. And there's Richard's putting it. eBay Motors is full of graffiti, and again, eBay, the motors category here in the UK has just been a slew of just unpoliced images, and again, they've been the ones to get away with it. So yeah, it will be. I've got a funny feeling that they are going to come down a little bit harder on this. Again, if you were sat in eBay at the moment, wouldn't you be looking at your mate Amazon going, well, they're rocking it and we are really in the shit right now. They're going to have to look at the pace of the changes which are coming out. They are thick and fast. So someone's really lit a fire up their rear ends. and I think they probably will do it this year. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. So yeah, we're not going to go into like amazing details on these. Obviously, we'll cover the basics and like how it affects you. So just be aware of that one. Watermarks. It's not something which you should. Well, it's something which you should be thinking about now, to be brutally honest. Because if you can do it now, and it's a little bit of slack time, get it in and get it out of the way. Okay. Product identifiers. I'll pop a link to this in the chat so you know which page which we're on. Dave, if I missed out any comments, actually, still quick on there. Dave and Richard says, eBay sent us one of their boilerplate active content emails, saying we had a link in 2/3 of our listings. I re-downloaded the widget template stuff, thinking price change. Jake and Richard, there is an update pending for widget chimp in the next, I'm going to loosely say next couple of days. Okay, just be aware of that. We will work around whatever things they chuck at us. Okay, but just be aware there will be some updates shortly for that. Yeah, it's all over. Right, okay. In the chat. So yeah, products identifier requirements. This is basically eBay just trying to turn into Amazon as far as products identifiers go. We could have this conversation all day long. Is it a bad thing or is it a good thing? But the reality is that it is probably a good thing long term, as in that it will enable eBay to make specific product pages for items, which then they can then go on and do paid promotions on. They're also static pages, so it helps with search. It also makes the listing process, like the manual listing process, like the sell your item form, easier. The reality is that it's going to be a case that any professional seller is going to have their own range of GTINs, whether they're UPCs if you're in the States, or EANs here in the United Kingdom, or maybe even JANs if you're in Japan. You are going to have your own range of them, again, assuming that your suppliers do not provide them. And it should expedite things greatly overall. So as much as it is a pain in the ass, reality is longer term, it's the way to go. It's just eBay. We've got to be. The reality is that if it was Amazon, they would have enforced it like a year ago and said, we're having GTINs, and if you don't provide them, then you're going to get dropped. That's what she would have said. As an Amazon, eBay are being very polite about this and are stepping it in over a period of time.
This has been coming for years now. I mean, it shouldn't really be a surprise. They're just getting more and more serious as time draws on. So if you're selling on Amazon, you should have barcodes anyway.
Yeah, exactly. James says, how can they contemplate stopping thousands of eBay listings, though? I think absolutely brilliant. And let's hope they follow through on that, because obviously, as a professional seller, you will ensure that you've got GTINs in your listings, and the powerful competitor won't do that, and you win. Okay, remember, this is one of the things. Times of change are also times of advantages to be had. Okay, so play the game, get in front, and then competitors will drop to one side. Mike and Liz also say, where's the best place to buy your own barcodes? There is technically only one place where you can buy, let me word this correctly, rent, not buy, barcodes or EANs, and that is from gs1.org.uk. If you're in the UK, or if you're in the United States, just type in GS1. Yeah, GS1, sorry. And just Google it, and from there, it's about 250 quid for the first year, 130 quid for the second year, thereabouts. Okay, and
but I think their minimum allocation is like 1,000. So, but you can get some off eBay if you only need a couple, or like
yes,
10 or 20.
Yes.
That's the unofficial way.
Yes, absolutely. So.
And we couldn't possibly comment on the links that you guys have provided.
Oh, absolutely not. But remember, they've still got them from GS1.
Yeah, they've all come from you. They're basically reselling.
Yeah, absolutely. Which we did look into, and it was rather profitable. Maybe we should do UE barcodes.
Maybe, yeah.
Anyway, next topic, which was right, I cannot give you any personal constructive comments or criticism on the new promotions manager. There's a video on the page. We are still not seeing discount codes in the checkout. That's the only point which I'm going to point out. Where are they? Why have they not been delivered? Okay, that's the only constructive comment which I can give you around the promotions manager. So do go and look into that one further. I'm sure most of you are aware of the markdown manager, etc., etc. Whether it's a positive or negative, I cannot honestly pass judgment on it for you. So do be aware of that one. There is, and again, you see I'm moving on quickly from that one. The next one is they've labeled it streamlining your after sales processes. Okay.
That's marketing talk if ever I've heard it.
This is good marketing if you've ever heard it. This is they've hit the nail on the head, because you need to read that page, and I'm going to make a point on this one. Okay. Automatic acceptance of returns. Okay. As well as saving time. And again, they've rolled out the PR red carpet for this one. Okay, it's brilliant. Very well worded. Automatic. So as well as saving time, automatically accepting returns creates a better overall shopping experience for buyers. From autumn 2017, will be automatically accept return requests on your behalf when buyers change their mind. Blah, blah, blah. Will automatically accept returns and offer buyers return postage label if they want to return an item for any of these reasons. Doesn't fit, changed my mind, found a better price, just didn't like it, or ordered by mistake. Okay, which is all illegal and above board. Pain in the ass, though, is the other thing which is running in the back of my head. And then it gets better, because will automatically accept returns. Okay, so for you, of course, acting on your behalf, only if you don't respond to a not as described return request for any of the following reasons: doesn't work as effective, doesn't match the description of photos, wrong item sent, missing parts or pieces, arrived damaged, or doesn't seem to be authentic. So all pretty vague in reality. Now the biggie, which I don't reckon eBay have been harsh enough. Okay, and and again, you're not going to like me for saying this, but we need to put ourselves in the shoes of the customer. So let me read this next one again, beautifully well worded. Hidden halfway down the page, perfect PR in there. Currently, the time frame for responding to these requests is 8 calendar days, which I think is personally absolutely shocking from a customer's point of view, because I've seen that message from a customer's point of view, and I thought, oh, off. Okay, and I'm not going to mince my words on that one. It has been diabolical. And from early next year, we'll reduce to 3 business days for these returns. You'll be responsible for the return postage cost. Okay, I don't think that's on. Okay, I think 3 days is too much. I think eBay should have really come down. This is an opportunity for them to step up to the plate, to the customer service plate, and I reckon they should have done 48 hours, and that should have included weekends or less. Okay, it should have gone to Amazon standards. 3 days is still
3 business days as well, not including weekends.
Yeah, and I know that some of you are not going to like me for saying that they should have literally just done like for like for Amazon when it comes to customer service. But the reality is that I know my personal reaction when I did one of those returns recently, and it said 8 days. I was like, what? You're having a laugh. 8 days. And obviously the seller got back to it way before then, and there was no issues at all. But just being told 8 days is just ridiculous. No confidence. I had no confidence at that point in time due to the messaging. And yes, Richard, it's complete PR speak, and they've managed to do a criticism sandwich there with bad, really bad, but could have been better, and then carry on down. Okay, so that's the bit which I put on there. They then go on to say that we are going to promote you a little bit more if you offer free returns. Okay, that's my summary of the rest of the page. Jake and Richard. Let me put out Richard's point in there. Studies seem to show that returns improve conversion. Yeah, confidence. Okay, buyer confidence is a big thing. Is that I was eyeing up some trainers, like walking boots. on Amazon. And I actually, and again, I know that I could have bought a size 9 and 10 and just returned one of the sizes. That wouldn't have been an issue. But I did actually elect to go to I think it was Sports Direct down the road instead, and actually go in there and try the shoes on instead. Turns out it was 10 in most things. So I don't know, but yeah, confidence is a big factor for online. So for having free returns, chances are you may not need it, but you may run across someone like myself, which will just go, I'll just buy 9 and 10 and I've got free returns. Straightforward as that. Now, Jake and Richard have also said that I read something about speeding up the returns process in Internet Retailer magazine. They claim that the returning customer is more likely to purchase again immediately. In my opinion, returns are bad, not good, as it should be avoided and not encouraged. Yeah, the thing is that if a customer wants to return an item, it's just one of those things. Just get it out of the way and over and done with, so you can then focus on actually selling an item to a customer who actually wants the product. It's that kind of point of view, and yeah, so yeah, you need to be aware of that one. And again, my personal opinion, I think 3 days is still too long. They should have gone straight in for 24 hours, and that should have included weekends, which I know many of you don't want to hear that, but that's the bar which is being set by the main competitor of eBay. There was another comment. Moving on is simplifying buyer feedback. I cannot tell you the last time I left feedback for an item on eBay. Point blank, there's no encouragement at all on eBay to do so. So I'm really surprised that people are actually still leaving feedback on eBay. To be brutally honest,
I do.
The
only reason is because I know how much the feedback means to sellers. So, you know, if they need that positive to affect the percentages against negs, that's why I do it. I know what it's like to be on the shitty end of the stick with that one. So I don't. Saying that, I've bought about 4 things on eBay recently, and I've left positive feedback for all of them.
No, I'm really bad.
I don't do it, but eBay I do.
Okay, I've got no issues with sharing this with you. Just to make the point is that the last 2 feedbacks which I left were, and again, they should have been negatives really, but that was me thinking of the seller. 2 dresses turned up, 2 different colours. So we got one of the girls in one colour, peach or whatever it was, and the other one was like a more red. And that was in the past 6 months. Okay, that's how often I leave feedback. And the last time I did it was in neutral, when, to be honest, it should have been really negative. But hey, you know, the girls are worn out, etc., etc. So yeah, feedback kind of pointless. We're going to move on that one. Contact info and links. I'm sure most of you already know about this going on. The big note on here is that they're going to start obscuring contact details. And again, this isn't actually really the big one of them of a major concern, really, because I'm sure many of you already know about this in short. And in early 2018, we may remove listings that contain contact details or links that direct buyers off eBay. Now, we are still in that period where eBay is still hitting false positives. So if you're getting listings which are getting hit, you do need to get back in contact with eBay and say that these are false positives going on. I'll leave you with that one. Now, the big one, okay, which you do need to be aware of, and again, this is why I was saying a couple of days as far as widget chimp goes, is that basically security warnings on your listings. Okay, this is probably one of the biggest ones which are going on. Is that from October 2017, your listings will display a browser security warning if they contain externally hosted content that is stored on non-secure servers. That means CSS, basically CSS and images. Okay, if you've been using M2E Pro and you're not using HTTPS, for example, on your main website, and as of these updates, the image won't get shown, and there'll be a security warning on your listing potentially because it's not coming from HTTPS. So if you've not already invested in a HTTPS or secure SSL certificate for your website, now would be a good time to think about that, just for your images. And of course, we will get the widget chimp stuff updated in the next couple of days for that, so it should be straightforward. The security warnings are Chrome triggered, so it doesn't apply to other browsers, but since Chrome is so widely used, they had to make sellers aware. Yeah, absolutely. The adoption of Chrome is massive for this.
I think so, it's over 50%, I believe.
Yeah.
It's a Chrome thing, not an eBay thing. Google.
Cool beans.
And yeah, Rich just put a link in there, Pre-Seller Cafe, which covered back in August, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to summarize these quickly when we're looking at some good points of things which didn't happen. No major category updates. Did you see a mention of category update in there?
Always good.
Always good. Absolute pain in the ass when they come in. So that's a positive one. I'm sure they probably slipped out some minor updates and not included in this one. So do look out for category updates. But on the main thing, there's no major things done. That's brilliant.
I think that was a few years ago, wasn't it, when they actually did they tried to get all the sites mirrored. So I think they'll probably keep them pretty. I think the large part of that is done, unless they start implementing new ones. But God, that was a ball ache.
Yeah. No fee increases, and inversely no fee decreases. Okay, so that's a positive-ish, if that makes sense. So those are the two things which are missing. Again, the one bit which I'm just going to take away from here is that the eBay are being very polite about this. Remember that conversation which you had, just the few sentences which we had earlier, is that if we were doing them with Amazon here, and it was like, hammer down, that's it, you're doing this. And that's what Amazon would have told you. They would have told you, you do this, and that was probably 30 days ago, and you have to do it now. That's just the way Amazon works. Whereas eBay are being very polite here. They provided lots and lots of notice and great communication around the updates and short. So do keep that in the back of your mind. Personally, I do feel that they should have gone from 8 to 24 hours, which I know is a big step and would probably freak out quite a few larger, lesser experienced sellers, should I say, as far as eBay goes. But that's the industry norm. You want to reply back, and I'm sure most of you answer questions which have come in within a day. Okay, but I think they should have gone one step further on that one. And the other things is, well, we can't really change it, so we've got to smile and live on and put up with the changes which we're getting dealt. So it doesn't even matter if we chuck every single toy out of our pram right here about the changes going from eBay. They're coming out whether we like them or not. So that's one of the easiest way of dealing with change, is to, especially enforce change like this, is just to embrace it. In short, there's nothing which we can do about it, and we just smile and move on and look for the positives on there, and think in the back of your head, your competitors who have not been here, say for example on today's mastermind, have not seen the updates or taken the time and don't react in enough time and leave it too late, that you're going to have one up on them.
I think it's the old Darwinian theory, isn't it, man? Darwin, everyone says it was survival of the fittest, but what he actually said was it's the survival of those most adaptive to change. It's exactly the same on this. Exactly the same with eBay. Those sellers who adapt to change the quickest are the ones who win, the ones that survive. If you're an e-commerce Spikes reader and commenter, then you probably don't. Oh dear.
It's nuts. It's nuts. So yeah, look out for the updates from eBay. And again, I'll just post the main link in here. Again, if your main selling site is not eBay UK, go and take a look at this anyway, because I'm sure that you're going to get this rolled out, or very similar updates rolled out for you. There's always discrepancies between the sites, but generally there's a lot of commonalities between them as well. And I'm sure you've just been looking at here in the chat as well. Richard's put in the chat a point that during eBay Open there was discussion what they would do with platform updates throughout the year. Lean less on these updates. These updates are mostly policy now, policy changes. Yeah, agree. And again, I'm just looking at your chat towards the Amazon item. I know for Amazon use, just released, what are they? A Fire HD, a pad with 10.1 inch screen for $150. Even the biggest one on it, Dave, is $200 and something.
Mm-hmm. It's a good price.
Biggest memory, the lot. Brilliant. So that'll shake up Apple.
Yeah. I'll just wait until Black Friday. I'll probably have 50% off.
Oh, yeah, that as well. That as well. I need to close some tabs down. I'm getting lag here on my main screen. There we go. No, still getting lag. Apologies. Right. On that note, it's time for us to wrap up. Dave, my screen's just, give you a heads up, I've got a wait or kill message on my screen. So if I disappear, you'll have to take over. Right, and on a serious note, it is time for us to wrap up. Do go and take the time to read through those updates thoroughly, because remember that one section I picked out, we're going from 8 to 3 days, they've hidden it down in the middle of the update. Okay, so do look out for those on eBay. And of course, any comments or questions, our forums are always open. On that note, it's time for us to go. For myself, Matt.
And for me, Dave.
Thank you very much for taking the time to watch today's live.
And it looks like Matt has had to leave the building. I don't think he's going back. Yeah, he said he was having issues. So with that said, thank you for taking the time. I'm not even sure if I'm even recording. Is anyone still with me? Anyone? The Facebook group on the Facebook page there, or in the forums as well. Obviously, we are always interested to see what you guys' take is on this. And with that said, have a fantastic week. We are around all week if you need us, whether that be, like I said, forums, Facebook, wherever, email, let us know. And yeah, if we don't speak to you before, we'll see you next week. See you then, guys.